Hey guys, how you doing? Davy here. So I just wanted to make a very quick video discussing the latest changes in the patch that happened overnight. There's quite a lot of bug fixes, quite a lot of changes to the quality of life of our time in this game, and I think most of the changes are very good. Quite a few changes that may upset a few people, but personally I like all the changes. So the first bit is just about Grand Company quest changes. I'm not really that bothered. Experience received from miner and botanist guild leaves have been increased. This is a very big one. It should mean that from now on we're no longer getting 15k experience per leave at level 40, but rather we're now going to be getting maybe 30 to 40k. So we'll see what really happens. Additional details regarding quest progression have been added to the journal entries for the sub-quest A Relic Reborn. I don't really know what this means because I've finished my relic on my Dragoon and I'm never going to be bothered to get another relic. I might get my Bard relic soon, but who knows. Alright, so battle system, and this is where a lot of things are interesting. So in addition to improving instance server stability, additional servers have been added for the following duties: the Wanderer's Palace, Ampedor Keep. Now, I am hoping, fingers crossed, that I am no longer, as a DPS class, having to wait in queue for about 40 minutes to get into a bloody dungeon. How frustrating it is, especially on a Monday. It is nearly impossible to get an Ampedor Keep done on Mondays and on Tuesdays, because everybody's doing it to get the mythology tomestones capped. It's absolutely ridiculous. So hopefully this update should help us no longer have a 40-minute timer, maybe a 10-minute timer. 10-minute timer will be a bit more controllable. I guess I can handle it a bit more better for 10-minute wait. The number of Allegan tomestones of philosophy awarded for completing the following duties have been increased: the Wanderer's Palace and Ampedor Keep. I guess this is to help all those scrubby casuals that are complaining that, oh, I need to grind so much and I need to do so much Ampedor Keep to get my Dark Light and yada yada yada. You don't need your full Dark Light set to get through Titan and do the first two bosses of Coil. If I'm honest with you, you could do it in full greens, especially Titan. You can do that shit in full greens and a grid weapon. Really easy. You don't need your full Dark Light gear. So that update has really kind of bugged me, sort of, but meh, I guess it was needed. The next one is good, however. I really like this one. The number of Allegan tomestones of mythology awarded for completing the following duties have been increased: the Wanderer's Palace, the Howling Eye Hard, which is Garuda, and the Naval, which is Titan. Now this one is very interesting, especially for Garuda, because if you are in a fully geared FC, in your full Dark Light, geared up in maybe some eye level 70 craft gear and some Allegan or AF2 with your Relic +1, you can get Garuda down in 5 minutes easy. This could mean that Garuda may become the new alternative place for everybody to grind out their mythology tomestones. If this is the case, I would definitely start farming this, hoping maybe they increased the mythology from I think it's 7 to about 10 or maybe to 15, and if that is the case, because you can get Garuda down and done in about 5 minutes, let's say 10 minutes for the average player, that's a shit ton if it's possible. So we'll see how much we get when we actually get in the game and do some Garuda. The enemies in the following duties will now drop Gil: Wanderer's Palace, Ampedor Keep, Castrum, and the Praetorium. Jesus, why didn't they do this at the beginning of the game's launch? Seriously, this really annoyed me. When I'd be going through Ampedor Keep and I kill a mob and I get, hey, 1 Gil. Yay! That's another 2,400 more hippogriffs I need to kill to pay for my repair bill from last week. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. So this really was needed. It will actually make Ampedor Keep a bit more profitable as well as Wanderer's Palace. Castrum as well, because Castrum is a very fast dungeon. Maybe farming Castrum might become a very good place to actually farm Gil. However, this has been slightly adjusted, seeing as Cashroom was actually used a lot to farm potash and all this other stuff. On top of the gil, it'll be quite a lot. However, the mechanics and enemy positioning have been adjusted in the following duties: the Wanderer's Palace and Cashroom. I'm sorry guys, but we can no longer do our 20-minute Cashroom Spirit Bond runs. Yep, it's a shame. So it means that Cashroom is now going to be a 30 to 40 minute dungeon. I really don't think it'd be worth doing anymore, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Maybe if you and your FC are doing a spirit bonding trip, then it'll be useful. Then Cashroom will be very, very good if you and your FC are doing a spirit bonding trip. But if you're just doing it just to now grind for philosophies, or you're doing it to grind money for potash or peacock ore, I don't think Cashroom is a very good place anymore. You're better off going to AK. Okay, so the next one. Caracal can now be found in the following areas. Caracal is a monster that was highly farmed for their skin. I believe it could also be required for a few classes' hunting log. I am not too sure about this, so don't quote me on this. However, I know for a fact Caracals will farm to shit, and a lot of people had trouble even killing them, so this was really needed. They needed to really increase the amount of Caracals available. And talking of monster spawns, the respawn rate of Diomites in the North Shroud has been adjusted. This was highly needed because Diomites were just getting farmed like nothing for Weavers. That fix was really needed. So, onto items, and the following changes have been made to the material melding interface. The order of categories in the pull down menu have been adjusted. A confirmation window will be displayed when converting currently equipped gear into materia. Now, this was also needed at the launch of the game. I converted my level 44 weapon accidentally into materia, and I was really upset because I had to go 4k out of 4k to get another weapon. Yeah, it was depressing. What can we do? Unused gear will be bound to a character after engaging battle, crafting, gathering even once, regardless of item level. Now, I personally don't know what this means. Maybe I'm just dumb and don't understand. Who knows? But yeah, this doesn't really do anything much to me. Walnut bread is no longer sold by the shopkeep NPC located in Eastern Fanaland. Now, this was a fix that was really needed. People used to farm, or just not even farm, they used to go to the NPC, buy a crap load of walnut bread, and then go to the levy mate that was just right next door to it, and hand it in for a lot of XP for culinary, and get a lot of gil back off it. I believe the walnut bread was selling for about 20 gil a pop from the NPC, or even less, and you were getting rewarded about 230 gil per leave, so this fix was really needed. Okay, on to system, and experience gained by botanists and miners from level 16 onwards has been increased. This was so needed. I cannot stress. It was honestly a pain leveling gathering classes, except for fishing, because fishing is just stupid. Yeah, this was just needed. The locations of level 30 gathering points in the Central Shroud have been adjusted. Personally, I'm not a botanist, so I don't know what this means. If you are a botanist, please post what this really means, because I don't have a clue. Players will only be allowed to create a maximum of 8 characters per service account every 24 hours. This is to combat RMT groups that have been abusing low-level quests to acquire gil repeatedly by recreating characters. We realize this change also affects our customers, and we ask for your understanding as we continue to implement measures to prevent RMT activities. Why are people making more than 8 characters per 24 hours? If you're an average player like myself, you only maybe need a maximum of 8 characters. making more than 8 per 24 hours. Is that really needed? So I really don't think this will affect anybody. This was a fix that was really needed to combat RMT, because RMT is slowly becoming out of hand. I must say, however, Square Enix are doing a very good job behind the scenes of banning this shit, even though people keep complaining, oh, I always see the girl spammers, I always see this. No, Square Enix are doing a very good job. If you've been keeping track of the prices of Guild lately, you will see there's a massive fluctuation, and each time the prices go up, that's because Square Enix have just done a massive hit to RMTers. So now I'm going to go into a few bug fixes. I'm only going to cover some of the most important ones to me, if I'm honest with you, because there's quite a lot. If you want to take a read all of the bug fixes, you can do so. I'm going to leave a link to this post in the description box, like I said earlier. So, an issue wherein aggro lines would occasionally not display properly during the instance the Howling Eye Hard. This, if I remember correctly, this is an issue where when the two adds, Shredder and Soprano spawn, the green and red line also wouldn't spawn, and it would really mess up the dungeon, especially for a lot of strats. This needs to be fixed. An issue wherein players were able to fight monsters in the instance dungeon Ampedor Keep without taking any damage. Now this is a fix that was highly needed. In case you don't know about this, there was a terrain exploit in the first dungeon where you could climb up the tree as a white mage, or the healer climbs up a tree, and when the rock golems spawn, the healer would just spam their heal, spam their medicas, take aggro off everybody on those golems, and the golems would quite literally just sit underneath the tree and just be immobilized there and do nothing. It would make the dungeon ridiculously easy, too easy in fact, and I am surprised that many people didn't get banned for this blatant exploit, even though people were doing it during Duty Finder. You know, I'm surprised people didn't get reported during a Duty Finder for doing this terrain exploit. So, you know, if you did it and you got away with it, you're the one of the lucky people. If you got banned by this today, I'm sorry to hear that, but you are using a terrain exploit. An issue wherein the Duty Finder would replenish party members for the instance dungeon Ampedor Keep after defeating the last boss. This happened to me a few times. Basically, if you click the option to join a dungeon that is already in progress, you just join an empty instance. Hopefully as well, this should clear up some more instances for Ampedor Keep, thus reducing the waiting time we need to reserve an instance and blah blah blah. Now, this is a big one. An issue where monsters in the instance dungeon Binding Coil Bahamut Turn 5 became immobilized under certain circumstances. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with the news lately, 2 FCs, one Japanese and one EU based FC defeated Turn 5. However, they did it with an exploit where the main boss would become immobilized. Both FCs reported this bug to the GMs, and no action was taken towards these 2 FCs because they reported the bug. Personally, I'm rather glad these 2 FCs did report the bug, because they could have just been greedy and selfish, keep the bug to themselves and just continuously farm Turn 5 all week and every week and just be selfish pricks. But then if they get caught, they could get banned, so they had no choice but to report it, if I'm honest with you. An issue wherein players were not weakened after getting raised. Now, if you don't know what this is, basically, if you're getting raised by a white mage or a scholar, the white mage or the scholar can then just spam the AoE heals, which is Medica and Succor, I believe it is for the scholar. And if they spam that whilst you're getting raised, your weakness disappears. This was a blatant exploit that people used during Titan, especially if they went down, because if you went down during Titan and you got weakened, the tumults would kill you, especially if you were slightly undergeared for a Titan. So this was a fix that was kinda needed. An issue wherein players were unable to use their pet actions whilst casting a spell. Now this was also a fix that was needed. Quite a few summoners and scholars and arcanists and whatever, they were complaining that when they were doing a certain skills or certain abilities, they weren't able to control their pet, which is pretty much a DPS loss, if I'm honest with you. This is a fix that was also very much needed. So there is quite a few other patches and fixes that were made, but I only discussed a few that I felt were important to me. So thank you for watching this video, guys. Hopefully my explanations for a few of these patches has cleared any doubts or thoughts that you may have had. If you have any more questions regarding these patches, please post them in the comment section and I'll be as fast as I can to answer your questions. So, thank you for watching this video, guys, and I'll speak to you guys later.